Hey everyone, Big Bear Ballin here again, making another video for you. I'm at 6 engine rooms as you can see, so I wanted to do another video to show you guys the layout. I came up with what other engine room, other bases are looking like, and how to do some more attacks on some pretty tricky 5 and 6 engine rooms. So my idea I had last time that I closed off with was from season 3 actually, the snake base, but it didn't really work. It was doing okay. They were posting 220s, but then I got seekered by 204. Shout out to him, and like with 3 minutes left. So I changed it immediately after that, and it took me a while to play around with. I dropped all the way down to nearly rank 24, trying to figure out the base I wanted. It took a few designs, but I finally came up with this, which is back to season 5 when heavy choppers were really becoming prevalent, and seekers too. So. This is pretty much the 6 engine room layout. It's not quite as long as that one was, but it still it serves pretty much the same purpose. So back to the tech tree, I didn't do troop health yet. I'm about to do that. Since you last saw me, my barrage is upgraded and I maxed out the GBE. Now, even further going to right now, I also got the Flotsam, and I'm getting Kavan this morning. So I am going that route. And you may think I'm crazy, but I'm going to skip the heavy choppers. I'm going to go for the building health, the troop damage, and then go for the 7th engine room and get that 3rd shock launcher above the engine room at that node and try and stop that way. I've always been more of a defensive-minded player, so if I go back for heavy choppers now, I don't even have heavies. So by the time I get them, I'm just going to be caught up with everyone. Whereas if I go ahead to 7 engine room, get the building health and the shock launcher, I think I can maybe create an advantage to keep myself ahead against the heavy choppers while I go back for them later. So it's all about creating advantage and trying to ride it out. So I think that's going to give me a better opportunity in the long run rather than going for heavy choppers now. I don't want to have heavy chopper battles with people. I've got a good base right now. Let's just roll with it and try and get to the next engine room with the extra building health and so forth. So this is a 3-2. I have been playing around with some rocket choppers on these bases if they don't have too many cannons on that top right side, which he only has 1 or 2 cannons that are in range, and then the boom cannon at the very corner there at the top. So I'm going to do all rocket choppers because that's a little faster than doing the rifleman bombardier split drop, having to flare to the left and then letting the right start. So we're going to do this. I got Sparky out a little early since my flares are short, so she'll actually go to this left side versus stopping early and going to the mortars. Try and get some critter cover for my rocket choppers. I'm going to shock that. And then just gonna let them go to work. While they're doing that, I take out this engine room. I do 2 barrage and 5 artillery. If you miss any of those barrage missiles, you're gonna need another artillery. So you've gotta be really careful to make sure you hit it. Otherwise, just do 3 barrage, 3 artillery, and that'll give you that extra few thousand damage to make sure you take it out. So I get that cannon just in time, and right now I'm just gonna clear just slightly. Luckily that cannon had 1 critter coming its way, so I'm going to take out this engine room, and then I've got quite a bit saved up to do some more shocks. So I'm going to go to that engine room, a couple more shocks on the cannons, just make sure nothing can hit me, and it's gone. So 253, really good time. That seems to be the way to beat these bases now. A lot of times though, they have a lot of cannons at the top, and that makes it a bit tougher with your shocks. You may not be able to BART out that 1 engine room. You may just have to save it and try and flare and keep things shocked while you take out all 3 engine rooms. So don't know enough about the rocket choppers to say if that works or not, but he is using bombardiers, and he's got to go through a little bit of a minefield. But it looks like he'll eventually take me out. If he had a few more at the top, he would have done a little bit better. Could have taken me out pretty quickly. This base is putting up a lot of 215 to 220s using rifleman bombardiers or heavy bombardiers. I've seen some as fast as 230, And then there's some other attacks that can get me in like 240, 250 that I'll show you a little bit later. But that's pretty standard attack, that time 215. So it gives me plenty of time, you know, no matter the base, to really take my time and work on things. I'm a defense oriented person, so I can't stand my base being bare. So I love having the max defenses and the rocket launchers and just trying to gain myself enough time as I can on offense. I like to win that way versus, you know, just going all offense from the beginning. Hop into another one here. I am going to post another video pretty soon. I'm just going to put some music to it though and just have more gameplay. I'm not going to be talking since I'm going to be in 6th engine room for a while I save up keys to get the 7th. So I'll put another video out, just have some music playing, and it'll be a little longer since I don't have to do the talking part too. But again, wait times have been pretty good. I think these only have been about 30-40 seconds. So So this is a little different of a 6 engine room base, but he's got all the defenses, basically the microwave, the 4 max rocket launchers. He put them all in the damage amp. Sometimes they spread them out a little bit more along the base, but this one's a little different. It's a little more clustered through that middle area than some of them are. So just trying to scout, figure out what I'm gonna do. I know I've got to keep those rocket launchers shocked. So I've got 4 bombardiers and a rifleman and Sparky on the right. And then I'm gonna take out some of these mines, use some critter distraction for the rocket launchers, and then I can start keeping those shocked. Drop the next boat of riflemen, they're going, and I'm just gonna keep an eye on that. I'm trying to look at my bottom bombardiers to see where they go. So those go straight ahead, so I'm gonna end up, oh wait, I meant for them to go down, and I dropped my other troops before. I thought they were gonna keep going down, and they didn't, they went up. So usually I use barrage and artillery to take out that top engine room, but I really had to change things up because they didn't take out the bottom. So I'm gonna use my barrage and artillery down here, and I'm gonna have to work the whole base. Usually I can cut off, you know, a decent chunk of the base by going the other way, but luckily, because I had all those troops focused in one area, they're just gonna take all that out, and then I can work my way up top. And then I'm gonna start quick flaring here once I get that flamethrower out, I believe. So get that out, and then early flare, far engine room, and then do a shock, and then wait for them to take that one out. So that one didn't go as expected because I usually BART out this engine room with 4 barrage and 3 artillery, but I had to go the long way a little bit this time. Still a decent time. I'm putting up right around there on those bases doing the other way, maybe in the 230s, but that's pretty similar. And he's got some Scorchers, which I hadn't seen up to this point. It's a pretty good meat shield. I mean, it takes a lot of hits. He still has one at the end of my base with, you know, a lot of the cannons and the damage amp, the rocket launchers, all that stuff. And I think it's a little tough with the Scorchers because there's only a few of them, so they don't take as many defenses focus, and you don't know where they're going to go. So some of your bombardiers might peek out, but it's viable, I guess. He might have them maxed out. I don't even know. I wouldn't max them out. I wouldn't put anything into them. They might help you on some bases, but they're not going to be a useful meta. So don't put anything into the Scorchers would be my guess. And he's got 3 of them. So I was thinking, I hadn't seen many Heavy Choppers up to this point with this base. So I was thinking by the time they did come, since I did take out 2 Scorchers, I'm going to assume they're max and almost the 3rd. I figured I'd put up some good damage against the Heavy Choppers. But that has not proven to be the case. The Heavy Choppers are a bit tougher because they drop all those heavies, and you end up just taking out the heavies with all the cannons instead of the Heavy Chopper themselves. So that makes it really tough to actually destroy them and make them drop the troops. Heavy Choppers are coming, guys. and they're going to be a serious meta. So the earlier you can get there, the better. Just make sure you've got some defense too, though. So another 6-engine room. This is more the type I usually see, with the rocket launchers more spread out along the middle from front to back. And then they've got another one peeking out on the right there. So this one is a little bit tougher because I have to protect these troops over here to the left. And he's a top 5 player, which I don't know if you saw when I looked on the trophy. It didn't say he had finished any seasons in a top 5. It all said 0 for, you know, top 1, 5, 50, and 500. So I don't know if he just wrote code to get that trophy on his base or if that's a glitch. I'm not really sure. So we're dropping 1, 1 on the left, and then we're doing 1, 3 on the right. And then just keeping an eye on this because I know that rocket launcher is going to start picking off the riflemen. Another delay, drop a rifleman on the right as late as I can, so I still keep the bombardiers covered and the other ones are dead. And then I'm going to start shocking the microwave. It's going to take 2 shocks again as usual. I'm watching this boom cannon. It's going to pick off my bombardier. I thought I could maybe take some range and keep it out, but I'm just going to shock it just to make sure and drop some critters, I think, for that one bombardier to take it out. All I need is the one because the rocket launchers are focused over here now, so that works. Doing my typical 4 barrage, then I'm going to get 3 artillery going. These still look okay. I've got some riflemen left, so I'm going to take that out. And then just waiting to try and, you know, I could flare that other engine room, but I also want to try and take out some of these rocket launchers to make it a little easier. So that's going to be gone, and then we're going to flare here, and we will shock the shock launcher and rocket launcher. The flamethrower is going to end up getting me quite a bit, but I was just trying to finish this base. It was pretty tough for me. So I end up saving a few bombardiers thanks to Sparky and the critters, but barely get that one. 226, pretty decent time there, considering all they had going on and my riflemen being just taken apart quickly. And he ends up getting me by a few seconds. He has a really good attack, so I'm going to show you guys that. This has had some good success if you can pull it off. So he gets the bombardiers out first to get as much damage as he can before he gets the riflemen. So he saved himself a good few seconds putting the bombardiers out first instead of the troops in front of them. And that's because I have my rocket launchers in the middle where they can't get hit right away. So he was able to do that. And then he takes out those 3, and then he drops 4 boats of Seekers, which, you know, the meat of my base is on that lower part. This top part's not that bad. So he's amassed energy for shocks and taking out all my shock mines, so he's just going to roll through my base here with the Seekers. He's got 2 shocks left, and they're just going to do their thing. My rocket launchers are hitting him, so they do a little bit of damage, but not enough to stop him, especially with all that extra GBE for the barrage and artillery. So he gets me with a few seconds left. Still, I mean, considering Seekers got me, I only lost by a few seconds, and I think I could have done maybe a little better once I get Kavan and things. So I think overall I'll end up being able to beat that attack if that's the speed that it's going to be. And then I know a lot of people, especially me, I've had more trouble with these bases, honestly, than some of the 6-engine room. Like outside of that last one, that's a tough one, but this base is really tough. And it's just melting people's troops. So I'm glad I got one of these in for the video for you guys to see how I attack it. I was using GBE to try and take out one of the engine rooms to save time, but I just started taking out some of the rocket launchers just because, you know, those are just ripping apart my riflemen. I mean, I've barely made it through the base and I'm already 1 boat down. So just keep using critters, keep using Sparky, and then just keep the riflemen flowing. I've got a little bit of delay there, and I'm just looking at my shocks. The good thing about this one is he doesn't have the microwaver. He's got the grappler, which will pick off some bombardiers if you don't keep that left side covered with riflemen. Like mine, they're all funneling to the right, so the bombardiers are open. But I think that's a little easier overall if you can keep your bombardiers protected because you don't have to waste 2 shocks on the microwave. You can focus those shocks more on the rocket launchers and other things. So I did take out that one engine room, trying to make it a little easier. We're going to critter the back left one with maybe a bombardier or two hitting it to save time, and then we're going to shock the rest and take out that other one. And I'm going to use my artillery here on the left. And I've got a lot of bases to go through. I'm out of riflemen, so I'm just trying to finish the base with as few troops left as I can. We've got 3 bombardiers left. Sparky's gone. So if I had just waited and cleared the base, I might not have done it. So I had to flare to the right one because I had gotten enough defenses down to critter the other. So sometimes you have to rush a little bit to make sure you have enough troops to finish. He's using remote hack, which has been doing pretty well. Like, what was that, 12 artillery or something? Remote hack I've seen people using a lot more on this base. I don't know if that's becoming a meta, but it does save a lot of your troops versus the critter spawn, just because you take all these defenses that would be pounding on you and you just focus them on that one defense. So the people that have done that haven't been the fastest times, but they've saved a lot more of their heavies and riflemen for the end tier. A lot of times people don't have any heavies or riflemen left by this point. So 219, not a bad time. Mostly what I'm seeing with that kind of an attack. So hopefully that helps with the clumped 5 engine room a little bit. It is doable. I have failed on some of them where I've just lost all my riflemen. Some designs are harder than others. I can't really point to what makes them harder outside the microwave, but some are just a little bit tougher. So good luck there. I think that clump is tougher to beat than some of the 6 engine rooms I'm seeing. So I don't know what that means as far as your push, if you want to go to 6 knowing you're going to face the 5 engine room clump or stay with your clump base. I'm not really sure. My base has been giving me enough time though against those players. I know they don't have heavy choppers to where I can, still beat them faster. This was against Ivan, the #1 player in the world at the time. I wanted to show this. Just because he has heavy choppers, and that's how he got to global #1, is because he had them way sooner than everyone else. He attacked me with them like 2 days ago, and that was 2 days before making this video. So maybe on like Saturday he had those, maybe Sunday. Anywho, I had a perfect split here on the bottom where the riflemen and the bombardiers go down. I take out the other engine room, and then I just do my usual. I'm trying to take out some defenses. That engine room's down. I just have to focus on these 3. So as soon as I get some critters on the right one, I'm going to flare the other 2. Let them take that one out. So even though his base he has good defense, but he doesn't have the rocket launchers, which is huge against me with the riflemen. So I was able to take him out really quickly, and I had my troops split perfectly, and they did everything exactly how I wanted. So I got him with 255 remaining, which I thought was going to be great. Like, there's no way. And then he got me in 253. I still barely beat him. And guys, that's the power of the heavy choppers. They just go crazy, even with just this kind of attack. This is sort of what season 6, 7 engine rooms looked like last year. You had a few heavy choppers and a bunch of rocket choppers following behind. And he does a really cool thing here to save time and beat my base. Wait for him to take out these engine rooms, and then, those heavy choppers still just have so much health. I've barely done a dent. He keeps my cannon shocked, and I'm taking out the heavies instead of the heavy choppers. So I really wish the Flotsam would damage air troops. I mean, that's a giant explosion. That'd be nice. So he groups them all together, and then he smokes to the back. And these 3 cannons I have here are all shockable with 1 shock, which I have since fixed after watching him do this. But he just keeps those shocked, takes out engine room, and then uses a bunch of GBE on the bottom engine room and takes out the other. I mean, pretty efficient as far as taking out those top 3. He just skipped over half my base and did it just fine. So really good attack by him. That's why he was the global #1. He's really good with his attacks. So no losses in my column right now. Pretty cool. Couple draws in a row, which is weird. Then I wanted to show you this one. Here are the all heavy chopper attacks. They're coming, guys, and they're extremely difficult to stop. He uses all of his GB at the beginning to take out my shock launchers, which is also why I want to push for the troop health, the building health, is to make it to where they can't take those out as easily, and then get the third shock launcher to really deter these attacks. This is an example of why I want to do that. And I'm going to max my shock launchers too. Usually you only need them at tier 4 because that gives you 2 of them. But once they start taking them out like this with GBE, you might want to consider maxing them to try and stop these kind of attacks. I don't know if you can stop these attacks. Look at that, he's still got like 6 or 7 heavy choppers, a bunch of heavies left. Like, I did nothing to stop that attack. I just slowed him down a little. Anywho, thanks for watching. I wanted to show you all this, and I'm going to put another video up soon. Thank you.